One of the things that I tried to do when I first got here was like, what are all the things here? I made a spreadsheet because that's what makes my heart happy. It's 4 pages long of all of the activities that are going on here. We have music groups, children's ministries activities all through the week. So many small groups, social and spiritual groups, groups where people are learning art, meditation, philosophy, groups where we can act on behalf of justice and caring for each other, providing food for the homeless, discussing race, educating ourselves about environmental concerns. And that's not even including the groups that are maintaining this congregation, from our finances to maintaining the building to pastoral care for each other to nominating our next leaders. You see around here a bunch of examples of our shared ministry. Today is a special service where we get to explore what is going on here. And I will tell you that the tables do not come close to representing everything that is happening here. I am going to be inviting you to go around and see what our ministry is all about. These are the groups that are doing the ministry of our congregation. For the next 20 to 25 minutes, I invite you to explore the sanctuary, to talk to people, have snacks, sign up where you wish, and just learn what is going on. The goal is to understand that the ministry of this congregation is being done by all of it. We are sharing with each other. So go forth, explore, learn, meet each other, have some food. We will join together when we start singing. Have fun. So we have a new team this year called Committee on Shared Ministry. And this team is put in place for a couple different reasons. One is, as a new minister, I need to have a committee on shared ministry that is there to help me, and so we can work together and support each other as I grow and develop further. If only all of us had something like that in the beginnings of our careers, right? Or maybe forever. Really, we kind of need this forever. But it is also a recognition that this ministry is not mine alone, and that this ministry is ours together. So as a team, we've been talking about, what does shared ministry mean? How is it alive in this congregation? Where does it need nurturing? But mostly we've spent a lot of time talking about, what does it even mean to us? And so we have 4 of the members of that team who I've asked to give just a minute of reflection of what they've been thinking about in terms of shared ministry. And they will give us their reflections now. I'd love it if you all introduced yourself as you spoke.
Good morning. I'm Susan Goldsmith, and I have been a member of this congregation for pushing 40 years. And I just want to say this isn't the first time we've talked about shared ministry, and I say that because shared ministry just keeps reinventing itself. We keep reinventing shared ministry. As we build this beloved religious community, we're grounded in our vision to be a spiritual community of our time. We're guided by our mission to share journeys, grow in spirit, and advance justice. And we covenant, as we did this morning, to dwell in peace, acknowledge, and share our strengths. Notice in that little paragraph I already said share twice. So it's part of our history. We do all these things. We move toward the vision and the mission. in this shared ministry spirit, not letting other people do all the work, and certainly not imagining, as Reverend Christine has already said, that she's going to do all the work. We do this by owning this community ourselves, from singing to feeding people to preaching and sweeping and weeding and organizing and managing and leading, and most of all, by challenging ourselves and each other, and by comforting and by love. It's not a passive way of being in community. It requires me, and it requires each of us, to consider our journeys and our strengths that we share, to identify our gifts that we bring today, and then reevaluate that once in a while, because your gifts might change and the congregation might change as we travel this pathway to a spiritual community for our time. Welcome to that journey.
Hi, my name is Leonard O'Brien, and I tend to go by a shortened version of that, Leonard, just Len. I've been a member of the congregation for about 2 years. I've been coming here for about 3 years regularly, and before that, off and on for a couple of decades. Here are 2 sentences. First, what is my ministry? Second, who am I? Those are interrogative sentences. Normally, interrogative sentences ask questions. What is my ministry? Who am I? Those interrogative sentences, however, I find puzzling. Clearly, those are 2 distinct sentences, different sentences. But do they ask 2 distinct, different questions? Or rather, do they ask one self-same question differently phrased? What is my ministry? Who am I? I'm inclined to say that they ask one single self-same question. For to figure out what is my ministry just is to figure out who I am. And to figure out who I am just is to figure out my ministry.
Good morning. My name is Carrie Lifshitz, and I've been a member for about 7 years. When thinking of shared ministry, I tend to think of it in terms of what fulfills you. Maybe you're fulfilled by spending time asking provocative questions to teens and being astounded by the breadth of their responses. Maybe you find meaning in feeding people and bringing people together by organizing sustenance. Maybe you find meaning in attending service on Sundays and quietly reflecting. Maybe you are contented by creating beautiful music for others. Whatever brings you joy is your shared ministry because it is done in community. Community is the word that I always come back to. By simply being here, you are part of our community. By doing what fulfills you and brings you joy, you help others feel fulfilled and bring them joy as well. Each of us is a part of our own ever-evolving shared ministry, which creates and maintains our community.
I'm Donna Featherston, and I've been hanging out here for about 21 years now. I always like to look at what Merriam-Webster has to say about words, and when I look up ministry, the roots of ministry appear to be the words agency and vehicle and instrument. That's interesting. And so when we talk about shared ministry, we could think about us all being on a bus together. So when I think about this, it obviously isn't just our minister in the pulpit who can be called? What is the heartstring that is pulled that calls you back here each week? Shared ministry to me means this is the place where we often hear we can bring our full selves, and I do believe that. There are times when we may feel that we need to receive more than we give, and that is okay. And I think that we don't always appreciate the small, informal ways that we relate to each other and the ways that we support each other and care for each other. Those are a vital part of shared ministry. I learned so much simply by being with so many of you and seeing how you live your UU values. And of course, there are more structured ways we can participate, as you can see this morning. The shared ministry includes the worship associates who come up here and share their thoughtful reflections, but it also includes those who prepare food, those who sweep and clean up messes, those who take care of our campus, those who collate the order of service, and just keep our doors open and welcome to everyone. And I know that over the years, the ways I've participated here have really stretched me and made a huge difference. And so my UU prayer for our share ministry is that we will continue to be a vehicle for good in our congregation and in our bigger world.
We are building